Welcome to Storied Audio. The first message was written at 1 in the morning. I don't know how to stop missing you. It sat in the drafts folder, unsent like all the others. Every night for the past 3 months, after the world went quiet and the ache in his chest grew loud again, Sean typed out the things he couldn't say out loud. Things he wished he had said when he still had the chance. He never sent them. He never intended to. Writing was the only way he knew how to breathe through the heartbreak. His friends thought he was healing. He laughed at their jokes, showed up to work, even pretended to flirt with the barista who always drew a face on his cup. But every night, when the lights dimmed and the loneliness crept in, he opened his phone and poured his heart into messages meant for Hannah, the girl he had loved too much and too quietly. Tonight's message was longer than usual. I keep replaying that last night. The way you looked at me like you were waiting for me to fight for us. I should have. I was scared. I'm still scared. He stared at the blinking cursor, feeling the familiar sting behind his eyes. Then he locked his phone, placed it on the nightstand and tried to sleep. He didn't. The next morning, Sean rushed out the door, late for work again. He grabbed his phone, wallet, keys, at least he thought he did. The subway was crowded, the kind of morning where everyone was too tired to care about personal space. He squeezed into a corner, holding the metal pole with one hand and scrolling through emails with the other. When the train lurched, someone bumped into him hard. He felt a tug. A brush of fingers. By the time he realized what had happened, the doors were closing and his phone was gone. Wait, hey, he shouted, but the train swallowed his voice. He stood there, stunned, heart pounding. Not because of the phone, but because of what was inside it. The drafts. The messages. All of them. Across the city, Hannah was making tea when her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, expecting a work notification. Glad she saw his name. Her breath caught. They hadn't spoken in 3 months. Not since the night they ended things in a storm of silence and unsaid words. She had tried to move on. She told her friends she was fine. She even deleted their photos from her phone, though she kept one printed picture tucked inside a book she never opened. She hesitated before tapping the notification. The message was long, raw, unfiltered. She read it once. Then again. Then another message arrived. And another. Her phone buzzed nonstop, each vibration a pulse of emotion she wasn't prepared for. Dozens of messages. All written at different times. All unsent until now. She sank onto the couch, hand trembling as she scrolled. I miss the way you said my name. I'm sorry I shut down when you needed me to open up. I thought giving you space was the right thing. I didn't realize I was pushing you away. I still love you. I don't know if that's okay to say. Her eyes blurred with tears. She had spent months wondering if she had imagined the depth of what they had. If she had been foolish to hope he felt as deeply as she did. If she had been the only one hurting. But these messages, these pieces of his heart, told a different story. She grabbed her coat and keys. She needed to see him. Sean spent the day in a fog of panic. He filed a report, borrowed a coworker's phone to change his passwords, and tried not to think about the messages. But every time he remembered one of the more vulnerable ones, he felt physically ill. By the time he got home, he was exhausted. He collapsed onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. A knock sounded at the door. He froze. Another knock. He stood slowly, dread pooling in his stomach. When he opened the door, the world seemed to tilt. Hannah stood there, her hair damp, her eyes red but determined. In her hand was his phone. His heart stopped. Hi, she said softly. He swallowed hard. Hannah. How did you? A guy dropped this off at my building, she said. He said he found it on the train. I think he read the messages, then sent them to me. Sean felt his face burn. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for you to see those. They were just thoughts. Things I never planned to send. I know, she whispered. That's why they meant so much. He blinked, confused. She stepped closer, holding the phone against her chest. Sean, I thought you didn't care. I thought you were relieved when we ended things. You barely said anything that night. I didn't know what to say, he admitted. I was scared of saying the wrong thing. I always am. You could have said anything, she said, voice cracking. I just needed to know you felt something. He let out a shaky breath. I felt everything. I still do. Silence stretched between them, thick with emotion. Then Hannah held out the phone. I read all of them. He winced. All. All, she confirmed, a small trembling smile forming. And Sean, they were beautiful. Messy. Honest. You should have sent the first one. He laughed weakly, rubbing the back of his neck. I didn't think I had the right. You always had the right, she said. You just didn't have the courage. He looked at her, then really looked. The softness in her eyes. The hope she was trying so hard to hide. The love that hadn't faded. Do you, he began, voice barely above a whisper, want to come in? She nodded. They sat on the couch, knees touching, the air warm with unspoken feelings. Sean opened the drafts folder, scrolling through the messages he had written in the dark. I didn't know how to say any of this, he murmured. You just did, she replied gently. He turned to her. Hannah, I want to try again. Not the way we were. Better. Braver. I don't want to keep my feelings in drafts anymore. Her eyes softened. Then don't. He reached for her hand. She let him. For the first time in months, the ache in his chest eased. Hannah leaned her head on his shoulder. This time, she whispered, we send the messages. He smiled, his heart now full. Together. Subscribe to the channel for more audio stories.